Good evening. Sound works, apparently. Should be good, yeah. Zoran says, YouTube check. Welcome in, Zoran. Iceblade says, hello. Welcome in, Iceblade. LPIC 104.3 PDF check. Here temperature is perfect, 21 degrees. Oh, we have like 30, I think. Fashionably late. I was told that everything up to 15 minutes is perfectly reasonable and acceptable in the society. Your message got eaten. Did you make it resemble a URL? I still didn't figure out how to deal with that on YouTube. The bot is no longer deleting URLs, but YouTube has something against those. I see what you're saying, but I grew up before phones were invented, mobile phones, I meant. And I was always told that up to 15 minutes is perfectly fine. And then suddenly someday everyone started to having phones and calling, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. I'm not gonna show up. Did my tour in 93, 94 before phones. I had a watch. Yeah, of course, but with the watch you can't really call anyone. Let me demonstrate how this works. It doesn't want to focus, but you can see the time. Okay, so you put this on your hand. Yeah, and when you're late, you just say like, hey Siri, tell my friends that I'm late. Hey Siri. Yo, Siri. Oh, sorry. I guess I'm 15 years early. Ah. This watch doesn't have the capability to notify the ones who are waiting for you that they're going to be waiting for you. It can only tell you what the time is and how much you're late. How is the sound today? Anything broken within the sound? Sound is good. Okay. In Croatia, we used to call it akademska četvrt. You know, being late for a quarter, up to a quarter of an hour. No sound clipping at the moment. Okay. I even hear a mouth move. I am really bad with setting up the microphone, so I did my best. It is what it is. if anyone gives me an idea how to better set it up by, I'm not talking about you guys, but in general. In general, if someone comes and tells me like, click this, tune this, set this to this value or this value of this will give you better this or that. But generally, I'm just like, turn on the magic button and do the anti-noise and stuff like that. The ghost who lags, welcome in. That microphone looks menacingly evil. Well, it's his microphone. It's his microphone. He lent it to me. It even features some red color. Let me show you too. This is actually just a sponge. This is just a sponge. The mic is actually red. It has a red ring around, and the red, I don't know what's red beneath. Something is red beneath there. But I think while it does look a little bit better like this, I think it will absorb more of the pop-ins when I say stuff that begins with the word P. P. Now let's do that again. P. P. Now it's better. It's missing the Decepticon badge. I can put a sticker on it. Iceblade didn't know he had such a big mic in the helmet. Yeah. Okay, let's do something. Let's control some mounting and unmounting. Let me log in to my test machine. Oh, wrong IP, sorry. Here we go. Yeah, it was, I know it's 2, but I missed the key with my finger there. Why do I end up remembering that? It's actually DHCP server who has decided that 206 will be the IP of this machine. The machine has a DHCP client, and for some reason it keeps being the same IP. Yeah, probably because it's always up. I rarely shut it down, and even if I do shut it down, it kind of goes back to the same IP it used to be before. I don't know why. Okay, let's introduce the lesson today. Up until now, you have learned how to partition disks and how to create and maintain file systems on them. However, before a file system can be accessed on Linux, it needs to be mounted. This means attaching the file system to a specific point in your system's directory tree called a mount point. File systems can be mounted manually or automatically, and there are many ways to do this. We will learn about some of them in this lesson. I just remembered that the last time I had a live stream, I kept looking this way with the eyes, but mouth on the mic, and I had a neck pain because of that. I actually moved the arm from the right side to the left side, and it lacks a little bit of length. Let's see if I can make it a bit better. This should be okay now. I don't have to really talk into it straight up. This is fine as well. But now I can't see the chat, so let's fix that just a little bit. Okay, where does the chat go? Chat will go here. Good. Okay, yeah, next train. I'll attach it to the ceiling. I can't do that. This road hand is table attached. The ghost who lags. My dad calls me a pain in the neck as well. That's a mild way to say that to someone. Mounting and unmounting. The command to manually mount a file system is called mount, and the syntax is mount-t type. You need to select the file system type, then device that is being mounted, and then the folder where you're going to mount it. So that's kind of clear to everyone, I would dare saying at this point, but just in case that someone stumbles across this video on demand and has no clue what the mount is, have patience. We are going to get there, and it will all be very, very clear very soon. The type of the file system being mounted, usually ext4 as one of the default file systems on Linux, Butter file system, one of the other default file systems depending on which distribution. exFAT, definitely not a Linux file system whatsoever, but you will be mounting USB sticks with this, and possibly your Windows partition if you're dual booting. The name of the actually maybe not. The Windows partition has been NTFS for a long time, so usually this will fall down to USB sticks. The name of the partition containing the file system, the device, yeah. So dev sdb1. The B stands for like a second SATA drive and the first partition. Mount point, where the file system will be mounted. The mounted on directory need not be empty, although it must exist. Any files in it, however, will be inaccessible by name while the file system is mounted. So, as an example here, we are mounting SDB1 device as exFAT file system in our home folder, which is maybe a bit weird. I have never seen this example before, but anything can be done on Linux, so why not do it this way? So in your home folder, you're mounting this device in the folder flash. If this folder is empty and you mount SDB1 in that folder, then this folder is going to show the contents of this partition. If this folder is not empty and there is something in there, then after mounting this partition on this folder, then just as well and as same as previously, this folder is going to show the contents of this partition, and all of it that used to be in the flash folder will be temporarily unreachable. I say temporarily unreachable, and I mean it precisely as I said it. When you unmount this partition from this folder, after that, your files that used to live in this folder previously will be accessible perfectly normally again, like you never touched this folder at all. It's kind of cool for playing hide and seek, to be honest. Many Linux systems use the bash shell, and on those, the tilde on the path to the mount point is a shorthand for the current user's home directory, as I said. In the current, if the current user is named John, for example, it will be replaced by /home/John. And they're talking about replacing the tilde. After mounting, the contents of the file system will be accessible under the tilde/flash directory. So when you look up the contents of the folder, you are going to see what is in there. So let's try to do exactly that. I have the power, says He-Man. Let's go to home Dart. We have some stuff over here. Make directory flash, because I have no idea why are we doing this, but the PDF is telling us to do that, so let's do that their way. ls block. So what do we have that is not mounted? Nothing is mounted. Okay, let's pick this one, SDA1. Mount dev SDA1 to home Dart flash. So the reason why I am skipping -t to tell the command which file system is it is simply because I don't remember which file system is it. And the mount command is pretty good at understanding which type of the file system is it. So it is going to use the -t command on its own. So if you check what is currently mounted, -h for human readable file sizes, and capital T for the types of mounted file systems. So this column here. In the flash folder, we have mounted ext4. Jolly good, jolly good. They promised that the difficulty of this lesson is going to be level 3, so that's fairly heavy compared to all of the other weights of the previous lessons that we did. I don't really remember that we have ever done a difficulty level 4. Maybe you can remind me about that, but it's always like 2 or 3, the difficulty level. I can't really remember if we ever had 4 so far. Listing mounted file system. If you just type mount, you will get a list of all the file systems currently mounted on the system. Mount, let's go ahead, and where is my page up? There we go. So on the regular modern Linux system, the mount command is going to show you a lot of stuff. When I was younger, and there still wasn't systemd and stuff like that, usually the mount command would only show you just a couple of entries, like your boot partition, your root partition, your home partition, maybe another one, but definitely not a bunch of these. You can thank the modern Linux file system for showing you like 20 to 30 mounted stuff. And also you can thank Ubuntu if you use snaps, because each snap application is going to be yet another mounted file system on your operating system. Every application is going to have its own file system mounted. Zoran is reminding us that lesson 103.1 was level 4. Okay. Okie dokie. This list can be quite large because in addition to the disk attached to your systems, it also contains a number of runtime file systems in memory that serve various purposes. To filter the output, you can use the -t parameter to list only file systems of the corresponding type, like below. Mount -t and then ext4. So there we go. Let me repeat that one more time with the hole here. And we only have two of these. So one of it is dev mapper, and the other one is that I have just mounted. You can specify multiple file systems at once by separating them with a comma. There we go. Let's add some btrfs for butter file system. We don't have any of those. Exfat, do we have any exfats? We don't have any of those as well. Okay. The output in the example above can be described in the format: source on target type and then type options, where source is the partition which contains the file system. Target is the directory where it is mounted. Type is the file system type. And options are the option passed to the mount command at mount time. The options part is really interesting, but hopefully the lesson will take us towards that. If not, I'm going to take us there. Additional command line parameters. There are many command line parameters that can be used with mount. Some of the most used ones are -a. This will mount all file systems listed in the file at its first tab. More on that in the next section. Good. -o, this will pass a list of comma-separated mount options to the mount command, which can change how the file system will be mounted. This will also be discussed alongside at its first tab. Just as a quick heads up, -o, one of the most frequent usage of the -o command that I have ever used in my life was the loop option. Let me see if I can quickly demonstrate how that works. Do we have anything downloaded? Not just yet. Download Debian. Let's download the testing image netinst. This one should be small enough. Copy a link. Get. Okay, this shouldn't take too long. So the -o parameter for the options, yeah, and the loop parameter is going to give you the possibility to mount an ISO image so that you can check out what is in there and maybe take something out of it. Let me make a directory, make directory ISO, and let's mount -o loop and then Debian and then ISO. And source is write protected, mounting read only. Now let's go ahead and check out the df-ht. Good. So you see here we have a loop device, and this is literally CD-ROM file system. It is as big as it is. There is nothing available in this CD, and we have mounted it here. So if you go in there, you can now check out what do we have on this CD before even burning it to your CD, to your optical media, to your USB stick, even more likely, yeah, in these days. So if you only need something from your Windows installation CD from your Debian installation CD, from your Arch installation CD, or whatever. Just download the ISO, mount it, take the file that you need, unmount it, and there you go. You don't really need to burn it to the any physical device and then, plug it in, mount it, and stuff like that. Just mount it like this, and that's about it. You can access what is in there. Super, super useful option. -R or read only, this will mount the file system as read only. This will mount file system as writable. To unmount a file system, use the unmount command followed by the device name or the mount point. Considering the example shown already above, the commands below are interchangeable, so you can use any one of these two. You can unmount the block device, or you can unmount the block device from the folder where it is currently mounted. Super tasty coffee. Let's go ahead. Some of the command line parameters to unmount are -A. This will unmount all the file systems listed in etc tab. -F, this will force the unmounting of a file system. This may be useful if you mounted a remote file system that has become unreachable. -R, if the file system cannot be unmounted, this will try to make it read-only. Dealing with open files. By the way, welcoming new guys. I can see that some of the extra viewers have just connected. We are learning about Linux under the hood and how to mount and unmount the file system. If this is something even remotely interesting to you, maybe stick around and see how it goes. When unmounting a file system, you may encounter an error message stating that the target is busy. This will happen if any files on the file system are open. However, it may not be immediately obvious where an open file is located or what is accessing the file system. In such cases, you may use the lsof command followed by the name of the device containing the file system to see a list of processes accessing it and which files are open. Iceblade is commenting unmount -A sounds like a kill your current PC option. You will not be able to use that command unless you force it, because the root file system always has something open. Maybe if you force it, then you're going to have some issues. Okay, unmounting dev SDB1. Target is currently busy. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's go to the flash folder. Yeah, so this is our SDB. Just by being inside this folder, we have already made it slightly busy. So let's go ahead and unmount the current folder. And of course, it is telling us that it is busy. So let's go ahead, lsof. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say lsof dev sdb1. So apparently nothing is going on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, still busy. Let's see how we are going to handle this. So it says in their example, this command is accessing a PDF. So this would be very logical. So we could just kill this process or close events and make it free for unmounting. However, I just showed you that we cannot unmount a folder which is not really in use. We are just sitting in there and not moving our ass. So it's kind of unable to pull the rug behind our ass as the ass is heavy. Let's see if this lesson is going to teach us how to detect that someone is sitting inside the folder. Command is the name of the executable that opened the file, and PID is the process number. Name is the name of the file that is open. In the example above, the file magpie40 is opened by the program Avins, which is a PDF viewer. If we close the program, then we will be able to unmount the file system. Before the LSOF output appears, GNOME users may see a warning message in the terminal window. Can't stat fuse something incomplete. I'm reading what Iceblade is saying in chat, but I'm not sure what you mean. LSOF tries to process all mounted file systems. This warning message is raised because LSOF has encountered a GNOME virtual file system, GVFS. This is a special case of a file system in user space. So, Fuse. It acts as a bridge between GNOME, its APIs, and the kernel. No one, not even root, can access one of these file systems, apart from the owner who mounted it. In this case, this is GNOME. You can ignore this warning. Where to mount? You can mount a file system anywhere you want. However, there are some good practices that should be followed to make your system administration easier. And one of these good practices is going to teach you not to mount stuff in your home folder as the PDF has done so far. Traditionally, /mnt was the directory under which all external devices would be mounted, and a number of pre-configured anchor points for common devices like CD-ROM with mnt CD-ROM and floppy disks mnt floppy have existed under it. This has been superseded by /media, which is now the default mount point for any user removable media. For example, external disks, USB flash drives, memory card readers, possibly with something plugged into them, etc., connected to the system. On most modern Linux distributions and the desktop environments, removable devices are automatically mounted under Media User label when connected to the system, where user is of course the username and label is the device label that you are mounting. For example, a USB flash drive with the label flash drive connected by the user John would be mounted under Media John flash drive. The way this is handled is different depending on the desktop environment. Let's go ahead and try to mount, let's say, this USB stick here. However, I cannot do that on LPIC demo because that's not even my computer. So let's go ahead to my local computer and see which side this goes to. The thing is, if you don't look at the USB-A stick before plugging it in, there is a high chance that you will be required to turn it on the other side, and once again on the other side, and once again on the other side. 3 times. That's usually what happens if you don't look. I have plugged it in and nothing happened. Possible there is nothing on it. Let's try another one. Okay, I have plugged it in and let's see df dash human t. Good. That's not it. Where did it go? Ah, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. So SDC, this is what KD did right now. KD took my SDC1, which is my USB stick I'm going to show you. It hosts a VFAT file system, 8 gigs, and it has mounted it under run media dart and the label of the USB stick. So what I keep on this USB stick is pretty much Amiga games because I don't have floppy disks. I have a floppy drive, but no floppy disks. So all of my games are like floppy images that I keep on this particular USB stick here. And in my Amiga, instead of my floppy drive, which I have taken out, I have installed a physical floppy emulator. And what floppy emulator is basically it reads floppy images from the USB stick. But yeah, Iceblade is asking why under run? What is that? Arch Linux. The answer is Arch Linux. Try it on your system. If you have, you're on Windows, right? Iceblade with WSL. Maybe someone else can try on something that's not Arch Linux. That being said, whenever you need to manually mount a file system, it is good practice to mount it under MNT. Actually, this is what I usually do when I mount stuff manually or create mount points that will be automatically mounted on reboot. I usually put them over here. It's like easier, shorter, and just leave it the automatic mounts on the normal path. Mounting file systems on bootup. The file etc contains descriptions about the file systems that can be mounted. This is a text file where each line describes a file system to be mounted with 6 fields per line in the following order. First is file system. First is file system. Yeah. Then the mount point. Yeah. Then goes the type. Yeah. Then we have some options. Yeah. And then we have dump and pass. More on that a little bit later. Let's go ahead with the easier part here. So the mapper device, which hosts my root file system, is X4 with these options here. Okay. Then we have UUID this one, so this block device, this partition here, that is going to be mounted on /boot as ext2, and then we just have default options here. Then we have UUID this one on the mount point boot FE, which is well, basically FAT32 with this UMask. Iceblade is asking -RO was read-only on root. Not sure what you mean by root, but RO is read-only, yeah. It's not read-only. It's just if there is errors on it, then it's going to be mounted read-only. So you can go ahead and analyze what's going on. Second mapper, swap partition, and we have some CD-ROM stuff here. To keep more things from happening, yeah. So let's go from the beginning. The device containing the file system to be mounted. Instead of the device, you can specify the UUID or label of the partition, something which we will discuss later on. This lesson keeps being later on. Mount point, where the file system will be mounted. That's quite easy to understand. Type of the file system type. Of course, we have already been through that as well. And then options. Options are cool. Mount options that will be passed to mount. Okay, so the heavy stuff now. Dump indicates whether any ext2, ext3, or ext4 file systems should be considered for backup by the dump command. Usually it is 0, meaning they should be ignored. Pass, when non-zero, defines the order in which the file systems will be checked on bootup. Usually it is 0. For example, the first partition on the first disk of a machine could be described as dev SDA1 mounted on root, ext4 file system, no time, errors. This one I know, this is access time. So when you access a file, if you remove the no from there, then whenever you access a file, the file is going to write into the how do you call it? Let's say a file system. It will write that the file was accessed and when it was accessed. Basically, whenever you read whatever with any file, any daemon, any user, any process, it will keep writing to your SSD or to your hard drive about when it was accessed. If you use this flag no a time, then it will simply never follow. It will never write when the file was accessed. There are some more modern ways how to handle these things. This is very I/O intensive and can slow down. No, not this one, but if you type just a time, this can slow down your computer a little bit. There is also a third option. Let me see if I have the example here. Like a touched command to update it. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so like on my Arch system here, it has a real-time. This is a third option, which is like in between no time and a time. Basically, what this does, it waits for a certain time before it updates when the file was last accessed. Not too many software uses this functionality of the file system, so it is relatively safe to use this parameter, and it will speed up your computer. But there are some software that uses this. For example, MUT, an CLI email reader. It relies heavily on when a file was accessed, but nobody really uses that. So there is unlikely that you will use MUT for email reading. But if you use some kind of a backup software for your computer, then there is a chance that your backup software will be checking when some kind of a file was accessed to compare it to the other side where it is doing the backup and stuff like that. So it is something worth considering. If you're not working with any backup systems, then maybe you don't need to think about it. But I also think it would be very wise of everyone who is looking this video live or on demand to check out in the manual what are the differences between A time, no A time, and rel time. Just look it up for yourself and find a couple of examples where this is relevant for you and where this is completely irrelevant for you and it only takes up resources from your computer. Just do me a favor and look it up, for yourself. If you're doing this live on stream, then maybe wait until the lesson is over. But I think this is useful to learn more about and find yourself some examples. The mount options are a comma separated list of parameters. Oh crap, they have explanation here. Never mind. Which can be generic or file system specific. Among the generic ones, we have A time and no A time. By default, every time a file is read, the access time information is updated. Disabling this with no time parameter can speed up disk input output. Do not confuse this with the modification time, which is updated every time a file is written to. Highest blade. Yep, I apologize. I just thought that it was important, so that's why I explained it. But you never know with this PDF. Sometimes it doesn't give us what I think should be discussed, and sometimes it gives us stuff that seem not that important. But anyways, auto and no auto parameters, whether the file system can or can not be mounted automatically with mount-a. If you didn't understand what this is, basically you can put no auto in the first tab for some file systems which you rarely access. I'm going to give you a dumb but perfectly viable example. So this is your first tab. And for example, in your computer, you have a hard drive plugged in physically, which is like your backup hard drive. And your backup hard drive, you only mount it when you want to back up something to it. And when you're finished putting stuff on it, you just unmount it and you don't want it to remain mounted for various reasons. Maybe you're afraid that some malicious software will be able to access it, so just unmount it just to trick it or something like that. But basically, if you if you make the whole line for mounting your backup hard drive, if you fill it up but put no auto on it, it will not be mounted automatically. And when you want to mount it, for example, if that command is saying that this is like, I don't know, dev sd D, for example, like your fourth drive, let's say that it is SDD1 and you mount it on backup. Yeah, so /backup. So when you need it, you just type mount /backup. And that's about it. It will automatically pull from the FSS tab all of the required parameters to mount it with just a simple command like this. You only need to type the path to the mount point, and it will find all of the other parameters needed from the FSS tab because you have put them there. Defaults, this will pass the options read, write, suite, dev, access, auto, no user, and async to mount. Dev and no dev, whether character or block devices in the mounted file system should be interpreted. Exits, no exits, allow or deny permission to execute binaries on the file system. Another example for this, the first example, but whatever. Example for this is, for example, if you have a multi-user system, like you are the administrator and you have like hundreds of users on there, or even just two of them, and you want to lower the possibility of these users to how do you say, take advantage of your system, like hack your system, run malicious scripts, stuff like that. Yeah, so users usually have access only to their home folder. That's like normal. So if you have your /home partition separate from the root file system, so it's a separate partition, you can do the no exits, and basically you will not allow anything to be executed from the home partition. So this is how you make your home partition a bit more secure, because you don't allow your users to execute anything. Would that be similar to change mode to read write? Well, no. No, because this is how you do it on the entire partition, no matter which parameters you put with change mode. For example, user can put execute on a file with change mode, and the file will say, yeah, I'm now unexecutable, but he's not going to be able to execute it because you have put it on behalf of the entire partition, entire mount point, which is /home, for example, that nothing can be executed there, no matter which change mode parameters you put on some of the files. So you still allow users to put the X on a file, but he can't execute. Yeah, it's a hard set rule. If you are a single user of a computer, this is unlikely to be useful, but you never know. You never know. It's good to know and understand that these things are possible. User and no user allows or not an ordinary user to mount the file system. Evo tu iza. This is also very useful for a multi-user setup. Do you want users to be able to mount file systems or not? Group. Allow a user to mount the file system if the user belongs to the same group which owns the device containing it. So we're getting a little bit more granular in how we can configure our system. I'm willing to say our server. Owner allows a user to mount a file system if the user owns the device containing it. Pull me auto još uvijek. Ana nije uhvatila. Da. SUID and no SUID. Allow or not set UID and set GID bits to take effect. Do you guys remember what this is? I'm willing to bet that Zoran knows, but this is kind of a nice practice to remember what this is. Yes, Icebite, but describe it, what it does. No. I think you're far enough from the truth that I'm going to cut it off here. So you just as you mark a file as executable with the X bit, you can also put the set UID bit on some file. So when you run this file, it is going to be run as its owner. Let's say that, I don't know, let's say that you make a program that deletes your entire file system. I know this is unlikely, but I'm just trying to make something tangible for you. You make a program or even just a bash script that deletes your entire file system, starting from slash, and you make this program executable, and you change the owner to be root. And if you make this program executable as normal user, then users will be able to execute this program, of course, just like everything in the /bin or /user bin. This is perfectly fine. But when a user executes this program, the program will complain that it is not able to do its thing because you're running it as a user and user cannot really delete the entire system. So far, so good. However, if the owner of the file is root and you put the set user ID bit on the executable, this way you're giving anyone who is executing this program rights of the owner of the file. Basically, when a user executes this file, it is being executed as the user, which is root, and there goes your file system. Iceblade, so it sets the rule for need of sudo or not. No, I'm not saying this is completely incorrect what you said, but you are trying to explain it to yourself in a wrong way, which is more complicated than the truth. Look, here is a file, I don't know, grep, ls. See here, this is command grep. Actually, let me show you on the actual example. This is going to be a lot better. Let's go to etc. Can you read what is on screen? Let me increase it a bit. Let's go to etc. Okay. Nano ice blade. Actually, no. Let's touch ice blade. Okay. ls-la ice blade. Okay. Here we have a file called iceblade, which is owned by root. Okay. Following so far? Now let's make a program which deletes iceblade. Nano delete iceblade. Rm iceblade. I'm trying to simplify this maximally. Rm iceblade. Delete iceblade. Okay. So you see there is read permissions here. Let's connect from the second terminal. So here I am a normal user here. Okay. Let's try to execute this program, which should delete iceblade file. Permission denied. Why is it permission denied? I'm gonna tell you immediately, because the users, because there is no execute permission on this file. This is not executable at all. We have not come to set to it just yet. I'm getting there. Chmod, let's say 755. Delete iceblade. Okay. Let's see permissions now. Now it's green, which usually means it is executable. And why is it executable? Because we have added executable here. Okay, so now this is executable, and now we can execute this. Let's repeat the command. Okay, now I'm going to press enter, and you're going to see what happens. Press enter, and it is now actually, I have stopped this intentionally. Let me just change the program. Just F for force. Okay. Okay, now let's execute this program once again. See the permissions here? It is executable. Let's execute it. Voila. Once again, permission denied. And it was permission denied even before. So if this is executable, it says, so this is owner here. The first 3 bits is owner. Read, write, and execute by owner, which is root. And then you just have read and execute by the group, which is root. And you have read and execute for everyone else, which includes me, Dart. So I can execute this. But still it says permission denied. And why is it permission denied? Because this program cannot delete this file, because this file is owned by root. and user Dart cannot delete a file that is owned by root. So let me demonstrate suid chmod plus s delete iceblade. Alexei thinks that this is not going to work. Sorry, not that one. Okay, now it's red. Now it's red because we have put suid bit on it, and you can see that it says S instead of X. And this means that when you execute this file, it is going to be executed as root. Alexei is confusing me. Let's run this command, delete iceblade. Okay, it's permission denied. Okay, I guess Alexei was right. But in theory, this should have allowed me to delete my file. But it is a script, so it only executes the stuff that is inside the script, and apparently it's a no-go. It depends on the write permission for the directory where the file is. Okay. I know I have failed with this iceblade. This should have been an actual executable, but not a script. But in general, what I was trying to show you is now when a user executes this, it executes as root. Iceblade says, so suid, you say it's owner root rule. Yeah. Okay, let's try that one more time. Nano delete iceblade. Okay. I forgot. What do I need to get getsitze? I'll just get getsitze. I don't know. I wanted to do something else, but whatever. Okay, one more time. Running the executable delete iceblade says cannot delete it. Okay, let's do the change mode plus S on this file. Okay, that we're doing this as root, yeah? Let's go back to the user. One more time, it is red. It has suid. Let's run it one more time. File deleted successfully. No such file, iceblade, in the current directory. Iceblade, did this make any sense to you? Or do you think I'm wasting time explaining stuff? I'm just looking for feedback. So what I learned is it can't be a bash script. You don't understand what just happened? The file iceblade was owned by root, and there was this program called delete iceblade, which when you run it, deletes iceblade file. But the iceblade file is owned by root, so when Dart ran the file, the program which deletes the file iceblade, nothing happened because Dart can't really delete this file because permissions don't allow Dart to do that. But when we put set UUID root on this program, see, it's owned by root, and we put set UUID. This means that when Dart runs this program, it is being run as root, and that's why it successfully deleted a file iceblade that was owned by root. My wife turned off the air conditioning. It's no longer the script. Now it's an actual program. I'm not sure that we understand each other completely, but the file did not become RWS, or maybe it did, depending on how you're looking at it. Just one more sentence, Iceblade. This program here, program called delete Iceblade, it is owned by root. So when you put the S instead of X, which means suid executable bit, that means that whoever runs this file it is going to run it as this user here. So it's not, so the S is not super user. The S is execute this program as the owner of the file. So if this said here Iceblade instead of root and Dart ran this program, then this program would not be executed as Dart, it would not be executed as root, it would be executed as Iceblade. Are we mounted file system as read-only or writable? Remount. This will attempt to remount an already mounted file system. This is not used on at the CEST tab, but as a parameter to mount -o. For example, to remount the already mounted partition dev sdb1 as read-only, you could use the command mount-o remount, read-only dev sdb1. When remounting, you do not need to specify the file system type, only the device name or the mount point. So basically, if you are changing some parameters, you can do it with the remount command live while the system is mounted, file system. Sync and async. Whether to do all input-output operations to the file system synchronously or asynchronously. Async is usually the default. The manual page for mount warns that using sync on media with a limited number of write cycles, like flash drives or memory cards, may shorten the lifespan of the device. In case this is unclear, the async is normal behavior, and if you have ever copied something on the on Linux from one partition to the other, this is actually a bad example because most of you haven't lived through. I mean, the younger guys haven't lived much through the days of older computers, but my typical computer from my younger age, of course, had only hard drives because SSDs did not exist. But not only hard drives, but I also had a LED light for hard drive activity on the PC case. So when I would be copying something from, let's say, one partition to another partition or from one hard drive to another hard drive, I would see in my command line or in my Midnight Commander, Northern Chimp, welcome in, or whatever, I could see that my file copy operation would sometimes or very often seem to be finished before the actual copying was truly finished. For example, the copying would take, like, let's say 15 seconds and it would say copying finished, but you could see the LED light of the hard drive still blinking very fast, and you can hear the hard drive doing still writing to the disk. So basically async operation. I'm not sure if this makes any sense, but if you use this, your computer is going to be slower and it will lock up pretty often if you are writing on a very slow media. The benefit of this is that when the copying procedure says that it is finished, it is finished. Yeah, you can also type the sync command in the shell to tell the file systems to hurry up with all of the writes that are going on. Just type sync and press enter as a command in the shell. Using UUIDs and labels. Let me just check where we are. Holy shit. It's not too long, but it's not short. Give me half a minute, I'm gonna go get myself some ice cream. It's too hot here. Iceblood says, long if you spend 30 minutes explaining something to me. Well, it must be done. It must be done. All of you guys have been with me for many months now and are helping me as much as I'm helping you back. This is how it must work. If I don't spend enough time taking care of the people who are taking care of me, and vice versa, it would not be a good relationship. So it must be done. Okay, I need to wait for this thing to unfreeze. If I had NVIDIA card, I could unfreeze this ice cream very fast simply by running a video game. But I'm poor. I only have Radeon, so I can't unfreeze the ice cream. My GPU is not hot enough. Specifying the name of the device containing the file system to mount may introduce some problems. Sometimes the same device name may be assigned to another device, depending on when or where it was connected to your system. For example, a USB flash drive on dev SDB1 may be assigned to dev SDC1 if plugged on another port or after another flash drive. One way to avoid this is to specify the label or UUID, Universal Unique Identifier, of the volume. Both are specified when the file system is created and will not change unless the file system is destroyed or manually assigned a new label UUID. The command lsblock can be used to query information about a file system and find out the label and UUID associated to it. To do this, use the f parameter followed by the device name. lsblock-f dev sda1 tells us it's ext4 with this UUID and some other useful information. I forgot the F. There you go. CDs 101, welcome in. Are you a Linux user? CDs 101. Here's the meaning of each column. Name. CDs 101 says yes. Welcome in once again. The name of the device containing the file system type, file system label, UUID, universal unique identifier assigned to the file system, how much space is available on the file system, usage percentage of the file system, where the file system is mounted. In Edit CEST tab, a device can be specified by its UUID with the UUID equals option, followed by the UUID, or with label equals, followed by the label. So instead of dev SDA1 being mounted as root and stuff like that, you would use the same thing but with UUID. I use Arch, by the way. Sorry, contractually obligated to tell you about that. This is perfectly acceptable, in my opinion. I am contractually obligated to show this on screen whenever another Arch user enters. Or if you have a disk labeled home disk. Label equals home disk, mounted as home, as /home, x4 defaults. The same syntax can be used with the mount command. I have seen your reply, series. The same syntax can be used with the mount command. Instead of the device name, pass the UUID or label, for example, to mount an external NTFS disk with the UUID. This one, yeah, on MNT external, the command would be like this. So far, so good. Mounting disks with systemd. Are we ready to move to systemd stuff? The ice cream is still not melting. Are we ready to move to systemd operating system? Iceblade says no. Would label replace the UUID as aname or just extra info? Iceblade, you can use the label instead of UUID. Unless you have two USB sticks that have the same label, then I don't know what will happen. You bastard me and my spelling. Yes, I bastard you. I don't know what that means, but I think I did. My coffee ran out. Sorry, I'm taking a little break here while waiting for everyone to say, yeah, let's go with System D. System D. System D is the init process, the first process to run on many Linux distributions. It is responsible for spawning other processes, starting services, and bootstrapping the system. Among many other tasks, systemd can also be used to manage the mounting and auto-mounting of file systems. To use this feature of systemd, you need to create a configuration file called a mount unit. Each volume to be mounted gets its own mount unit, and they need to be placed in etc systemd system. Let's see what is over there. Mount units are simple text files with the mount extension. The basic format is shown below. Unit description, mount what, where, type, options. I think this is reasonably understandable so far. Wanted by. This is actually really similar to these other services here. Northern Chimp says, allons-y avec le système D. I have no clue what that means. Obviously French, but... The description is short description of the... French talk in the chat. Short description of the mount unit, something like mounts the backup disk. What should be mounted? The volume must be specified as dev disk by UUID vol UUID, where vol UUID is the UUID of the volume. Where should be the full path to where the volume should be mounted. Type is the file system type. Options is, of course, the mount options that you may wish to pass. They are the same used with the mount command or in etc/tab. Wanted by. This is used for dependency management. In this case, we will use the multi-user target, which means that whenever the system boots into a multi-user environment, so a normal boot, the unit will be mounted. Our previous example of the external disk could be written as description external data disk. What we are mounting? Well, we are mounting this guy here. Where are we mounting it? To monitor external, which file system, which options, and when are we mounting it? This is basically when. But we are not done yet. To work correctly, the mount unit must have the same name as the mount point. In this case, the mount point is monitor external, so the file should be named monitor-external.mount. After that, you need to restart the systemd daemon with system control command and start the unit. So, daemon reload, okay? And then start this. Let's pretend this is a service, yeah? Northern Chimp, I thought you knew you featured that. I thought you knew you featured that in a hilarious comment on Matrix recently. I'm lost. You mean the French stuff? I don't know what that is. Let's go with the D system. Yeah. I don't remember what we discussed in French on Matrix. I'm pausing the lesson just to catch up with whatever funny it should be. Yeah, I mean I didn't laugh, so I'm kind of missing the joke. I want to have it funny for me. Make it funny for me, please. I think I killed the spirit of the joke. Nobody's talking anymore. Oh, the ice cream is becoming edible. Very cold. Brain freeze. No, no, it's just gums freeze. Hmm. Iceblade is going to take over leading the lesson from now on, and I'm gonna eat. Iceblade, take it over. Okay, Northern Chimp. Now the contents of the external disk should be available on MNT external. Yeah. You can check system control status slash. Now the contents of the external disk should be available on minute external. You can check the status of the mounting with the command system control status minute external dot mount like below. I forgot the command. Let's have a look. You missed a C. Thank you. I'm just doing what the lesson is telling me to do. Okay. Oops. Loaded. Actively mounted 17 seconds ago. Where, what? No, you don't need to reboot the system when you're mounting something. Why would you reboot the system? It said that you need to reload systemd. Let me see where that was. This here, you need to reload systemd. So that's our status here, yeah? The system control start command will only enable the unit for the current session. If you want to enable it on every boot, replace start with enable. Okay? Like this. So now it's created symlink. See, added the systemd system multi-user target wants with this mount point to edit the systemd system home dart flash mount. Let me see what it said. You need to restart. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Reloading is not the same as restarting. Generally, on Linux, reloading means reloading the configuration, not exactly shutting it down and starting it again from scratch. But yeah, let's reboot. Let's see how fast will it reboot. Okay, so DFHT, you see here, SD1 is mounted on home dart flash. There is no such thing in etc tab. The reason being this systemd service. Why don't I SSH via domain name? I didn't set it up on my local DNS. It doesn't work. It searches this, but my DNS is not configured properly. Nah, it's not the key sensitivity, but nah, not that one. Sorry. That's the firewall. Settings, local DNS records. Let's edit domain lpic demo. I'm gonna have to make it a fixed IP for this to work properly. Okay. Let's SSH into lpic demo now. No address associated. You can also set up an alias in SSH config. Nah, that takes too much work when you have like 10 to 15 computers. Then you have to set it up on each individual computer again and again. And when you change something, then you have to change it 15 times. Better to do it on a local DNS. Just configure it properly. I'm not sure why is it not working now. Oh, wrong name server. Why did it get that one? No, this is... I'm on localhost. So, yeah. Sorry, my localhost doesn't use this DNS server at all. Let me try SSH into... Let's go into my matrix here. Okay, and now SSH to lpic demo from... Huh. Ah, crap. Even worse. Even worse. I have to play around with these things. What the hell is this? Do I have any of these servers that use my local DNS? Ah, this one does. For whatever reason. Okay, let's try from this one. SSH lpic demo. Ah, now it works. Now it works. So yeah, I just need to... Great. I just need to configure DNS properly and put it on all my computers. I'm probably going to install unmount. I'm not very sure into the usefulness of Pi-hole, to be honest. It's good for mobile phones. It's easier that way on them to block some ads, but I don't know. It's not that useful, to be honest. Very cold. Auto-mounting a mount unit. Mobile Firefox has you... That was the dog. Mount units can be auto-mounted whenever the mount point is accessed. To do this, you need an .automount file alongside the .mount file describing the unit. The basic format is like this: description, automount where, wanted by the same, yeah, like before. Description is a short description of the file, and where is the mount point. For example, an .automount file for our previous example would be like this. Let's go ahead and system control disable home dart flash. Good. So on next reboot, it will no longer automatically mount home dart flash. Oh crap. That was not a good thing to show. Now I have to change my password. It is what it is. I have two-factor authentication on literally everything. But I am going to need to change the password. Okay. So, etc. System D system. Yeah. No worries. That's why we have two-factor authentication. So you can't really do that. That password is actually on my laptop. But okay. Shit happens. Where were we? The file wasn't there like, where is the dart? Home dart flash. Okay. Auto mount where mount is home dart flash, and then save it. Daemon reload. Sorry, too much copy pasting. Job failed. Alexis says you need to enable the auto mount unit but not the mount one. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. System control start home dart flash auto mount. The job identifier is 964 and the job result is failed. Maybe it needs to be the same in description. Aha. Unmount the path first. Interesting. Okay, so up there you cannot see the flash folder being mounted, so let's enter the flash folder. Cd flash, and as we enter the folder it has automatically mounted. So that's kind of nice. That was cool. Now whenever the folder is accessed, the disk will be mounted. Like before, to enable the auto mount on every boot, you would use this. Well, we could do that. Okay. Ah, now you're done. I thought that there was more. You can specify auto mount, unmount too, using timeout idle seconds. Now let's try that. You can specify auto unmount to using timeout idle. Where does that go? Under here, under auto mount? Timeout idle sec equals 5. Will that do the trick? System control daemon reload. Okay, let's see what is inside the flash folder. So we have listed the contents of the folder and it has automatically mounted for us. It didn't work. I maybe misinterpreted what Alexei said about unmounting automatically. Under options, where extra options, timeout idle sec. I don't know, it should work. Oh, now it has auto unmounted. How come? Let's give it some time and see how long it takes to unmount. Uh-huh. Iceblade is getting very smart. But yeah, it is correct. I think I have something like that set up on my own computer. So here, this parameter here automatically, I mean it's the same thing, but called from fstub. System control cut mount diagonals mount. Yeah, I know it's generating systemd stuff. Let's try to answer this. These using mount. How can you mount an X4 file system on dev SDC1 to monitor external as read-only using the no time and async options? Iceblade can write in chat, or anyone else from the 11 of you who are watching at the moment. Really easy to answer. Init tux 111. Sorry, I didn't see you earlier. I didn't spot your message, sorry. And welcome in. Iceblade says mount dash t x4 dev sdc1 monitor external dash ro no at time comma async. What is the R, Iceblade? What is the R letter for? Dash O is options. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think the R is extra. Like, okay, my bad then. Yeah, I would do exactly what the ghost who lags wrote. I didn't know that you can just make it dash RO. Well, apparently both of you are correct. I'm just saying that I would mount it the way the ghost who lags wrote. When unmounting a file system at SDD2, you get the target is busy error message. How can you find out which files on the file system are open and what process opened them? 4 letters. Zoran is almost correct if I consider that his fingers slipped when typing. Or he did that intentionally. I think he did that intentionally. As a hint. Yeah, it's but LSOF, but you need to add dev SDD2, otherwise you're going to get a big output. You need to add this argument here. Consider the following entry in tab. Dev SDB1, data, X4, no time, no auto async. Will this file system be mounted if the command mount-a is issued? Will it mount? No, it does not have auto mount option on it. Zoran is correct. Ghost Who Legs is incorrect, and Iceblade is half correct because his answer is correct, but he doesn't know why. Yeah. This one is keeping it from automatically mounting. This parameter here. When you type mount-a, everything under FSTab file will be automatically mounted with this manual command, except entries that have no auto. So this one here will not mount with this command because of this parameter here. This parameter here basically says skip me. How can you find out the UUID of a file system under dev sdb1? The Ghost Who Lags, the answer from this PDF is something different. Let's see if yours work as well. Bullock ID, there is no such command. Sorry. Sudo bullock ID? Huh. This gives the answer as well. The answer from the PDF should be this one, I think. No, the Ghost Who Lags has the correct answer, but when we review the answers to the questions in the PDF is going to claim that this is the answer. But no matter, this one is correct as well. I'm just saying the PDF usually sticks to what it teaches. How can you use mount to remount as read-only? Alexa is correct on this one. Yeah. How can you use mount to remount as read-only on exFAT file system with the UUID, which is mounted at this point? Oh, we have 6 of them now. Interesting. Ice blade. The remount. Ice blade remount. Aha. Okay. You're still on the old question, and you're still wrong. But do answer the fifth one. Mount dash O at the ghost who lags. Very good. Mount dash O remount, comma, read only, txfat UUID. Actually, the ghost who lags, you are correct, but you overcomplicated your own command, which doesn't mean that you're incorrect. It's fine, but you can do it shorter, like Zoran did. You can do it shorter, like Zoran did. It is not necessary to type everything during remount. Just UUID or the mount point. One of this is enough. How can you get a list of all ext3 and NTFS file systems currently mounted on a system? How can you get a list of all ext3 and NTFS file systems currently mounted on a system? Mount Come on, somebody has to know how to list. Alexei is correct. Yeah, it's the mount command still. Mount, when you type it, it shows everything mounted. One eye monster, hello. Mount dash txt4. So that's the command. I mean, I'm typing x4 in order to actually output something, because if I type x3, there will be nothing. If I put comma and tfs, there will also be nothing. But generally, this is the command. Just this. Explore. Let's explore. Consider the following entry in FS tab. SDC1 backup X4 no time no user sync. Iceblade is wrong again. Can a user mount this file system with the command mount backup? Iceblade is going to answer no, and then he is going to give a wrong answer on why. I'm just joking. No, because of no user. Okay. Consider a remote file system mounted at Monetus server, which has become unreachable due to a loss of network connectivity. How could you force it to be unmounted or mounted as read-only if this is not possible? The question, Iceblade, is how to force unmount. Iceblade, are you sleepy? Why do you need timeout idle if you want to forcefully unmount something now? The answer is on the screen. One-eye monster, okay. but we need to do it the PDF way. You want to forcefully unmount. Iceblade is asking how I'm supposed to SSH into the server and run that command. You don't have to, just remember what the lesson said. You assumed that you're not there, but in reality, the server is not here. The server is mounted locally on your computer, but somebody cut the Ethernet cable with scissors. So although the server has been mounted locally on your computer, it is now unreachable because the cable is broken. The question is not bad. Actually, it's quite easy to understand, but maybe you have read too deeply into it. The question is how to unmount. You're locally on your laptop, and all the question wants from you is to unmount the server. Let it go. One Eye Monster is asking, why do you need to go into the terminal and type all kinds of codes? Because you want to learn how to be a Linux sysadmin. Sorry, sysadmin. The file's remote but local on my system. Yes, exactly. Look here. You see this? So here I have this remote server mounted locally on Dart. Can you understand what is going on here, Iceblade? You have this. This is literally a remote server mounted on a local folder. Okay, so the question is asking you, if somebody cuts the cable between you and the server, this will stay mounted. So how do you unmount something forcefully? Let's say that the question is badly phrased, but did I manage to explain it? If I did, can you now give it an answer? How do you forcefully unmount this? Yes, that is the correct answer. Unmount dash F and then slash minute slash server. Did the red text help you in any way, or did you not see it? The text in red. Ah, okay. Write an etc tab entry that would mount a Butterfile system volume with the label backup on minute backup with default options and without allowing the execution of binaries from it. tab is a file which is usually processed on boot, in which there are some lines that contain all of the volumes that need to be mounted. The ghost who lags thinks that the question doesn't include a file system location. It does. I'm just joking. Oops. Okay, this is taking too long to write, so this is the answer. It's hard to draw on the screen. So write an tab entry that would mount a Butterfile system volume with the label backup on minute backup with default options and without allowing the execution of binaries from it. So the beginning, the ghost who lags has the answer. Label equals backup, and the path to where it is going to be mounted is /minute/backup, as the question is asking. Then we have btrfs as file system, or type of the file system, and then we have default, comma, no exits. And why do you have 1 and 1 in the end? That part is confusing for me. Mount and dump order? Maybe I don't know enough about this, but why ones? Why not zeros? One eye monster, it's you should remember everything, otherwise you can't pass the exam. For one eye monster, this is the exam that some of us are going to pass to get a certification. So in order to pass the exam, you have to know the answers to the questions in the exam. It's not like learning math in elementary school and thinking, yeah, I'm not going to need math ever in my life. Why am I being forced to learn math? This is our own will to learn this because we want to. Where were we? We were at ones and zeros. Yeah, I don't know. The ghost who lags, I would put zeros at the end, but your command is fine. Okay. Consider the following system D mount unit. Description is external data disk. What is dev disk by UUID? This one, where minute external type is NTFS, options are defaults and wanted by multi-user target. What would an equivalent at CFS tab entry be for this file system here? Okay, this is actually pretty easy. The answer to this question is basically the same as the ghost who lags just gave in chat earlier. Not 100% the same, but it's on the same way. Linux nerd training. I would actually, when I monster, I would actually be very, how would I say this in English? I'm missing the correct word that I have in my head, but I would love to do that, what you just proposed as the title of the stream. It's just that I get paid for doing a job that requires me to know these things. So in this slide, it's not a nerd training, it's a way to earn for a living. Who is going to take this one? I think Iceblade could do this if he reads the what you just wrote, Ghost Hulags. If he reads your last answer and just applies it with different parameters, it's actually quite easy. Iceblade, can you answer this one? How do you make a FSTab entry that does the exact same thing as this systemd unit? One eye monster, don't get me wrong, you're very welcome to stay here no matter how hard this seems for you. Or even if you're not really interested into becoming a Linux system administrator, you're still welcome to be here and follow up. Maybe even answer a couple more questions. It's all good. We will have you. The Ghost Huleg says UUID equals this UUID here. Monitor external, yes. NTFS, yes. Defaults, yes. And zeros, yes. So, yeah, Iceblade, what the Ghost Hulegs just wrote is the correct answer. And it is the correct answer because this systemd unit says that we are mounting by UUID and not by label. You were far off, yeah, I know, but you can check your own FSTab to remember what is the order of things that need to be in the line. You take any FSTab file from any Linux, and you will see that first UUID, and then where the mount point is, and then the file system, and then options, and then the rest. What should be the file name for the unit above so it can be used by systemd? And where should it be placed? Okay, so what is the file name of this unit? Iceblade, you don't have FSTab file on your system? Are you in Windows subsystem for Linux? Alexei wonders why this naming restriction exists. Yeah, I was wondering that as well, but Iceblade, you don't know that filesystem is in etc folder. It's always /etc/filesystem on every system. I mean every Linux system. On Windows, it's not in etc/filesystem. The ghost who lags. Do you know what is the name of this unit? It can be only one. It's the same restriction for slice units. Okay, I'll try to remember that. I'm still a bit weak with systemd. The ghost who lags doesn't know. Yeah, so this systemd mount unit needs to have a specific file name in order to function correctly. And the file name is mount-external.mount. It has to be that name. It can only be one name to function correctly. Must be this file name. And Alexei gave you the file path. The systemd file link name has to be the same as the mount directory, yeah. Iceblade, we are on the answer 5. Using mount, how can you mount it? So I think this was answered very fast by somebody in the chat. It's just that two of us have answered -o, but apparently you thought that RO is fine as well. I suppose it is. I didn't check. This is how I would write it, and this is how PDF wants you to write it, so it's definitely one way of doing that. When unmounting a file system, the target is busy. How do you check why the target is busy with this command? Iceblade answered this without the parameter. Consider the following entry in the facet tab. Will this file system be mounted? It will not be mounted. The key is no auto parameter. Yeah. How can you find out the UUID of a file system with -f? It's burning, yeah. How can you use mount to remount as read-only exFAT file system? I think Zoran answered this one. Also, Ghost Who Lags answered this one in an unnecessarily more complex way, which I believe was also correct. Just needlessly too long. How can you get a list of all ext3 and NTFS file system currently mounted on a system with this one? Ghost Who Lags is verbose, yeah. So you can see all of the ext3 and NTFS file system mounted with this command. I'm sorry that One Eye Monster left, or maybe he didn't, maybe he's still learning with us. Consider the following entry. Can a user mount this system? No, the parameter no user will not allow it. Consider a remote file system. How can you force it to be unmounted? Pass the -f option. Basically, I was wrong, and you need to pass both if you want to answer this question completely. You can pass only -f to force unmount it, but if it doesn't want to, then you will need to mount it read-only. So you just type the French parameter here. Write an etc tab entry that would mount a Butterfile system volume with the label backup. I believe Ghost Who Lags answered this one correctly. Consider the following systemd mount unit. What would be the equivalent tab entry? Yeah, so UUID first, then where it goes, then NTFS, and then defaults. I think this was the question where I asked why are we putting ones at the end. I'm not sure. Or was it this one? My competitors are too fast and correct. That's good. Competition always good. What should be the file name for the unit above so it can be used by systemd, and where should it live? Ka-ching, ka-ching. Oh, there will be some more set UID next time, I think. This smells like it. This one is not bad. I like it. Okay, there is a long work week ahead of me, like the really long one. And by long one, I mean it is going to be a difficult one because I have a lot of difficult stuff to do. And what I can give you, I will not have time for too many videos next week. As I said, I have a ton of work, like with a deadline and stuff. The only thing I can give you is, where is it? I guess I have to go to studio here. Yeah, so on 23rd, that's tomorrow, I have something about butterfly system encryption. Well, basically on Debian, but it's you will see. You will see. It's already made and scheduled for tomorrow. And a little bit of gaming and anti-cheat. This is something that I have been thinking about for like 2 years, and nobody really talks about this. I mean, people do talk about anti-cheat, but this particular idea that I have is something that I have recorded for Tuesday. So that's going to be waiting for you to do with it whatever you will. Maybe somebody who is into dealing with anti-cheat will see my video and tell me why I am wrong about my idea. But either way, I have made the video. So on Wednesday and Thursday, there may be nothing. I don't know. I haven't recorded anything for Wednesday and Thursday, but it will be what will be. Yeah, 2 videos at least. Yeah. Friday stream still on. Yeah, Friday stream still on. Hopefully, I will finish my work before the work Friday ends, and after that, it's the time for the stream. Yeah. So we will definitely do the stream. And right now, I'm gonna go prepare myself for bed so I can get up early in the morning and stuff like that. The Ghost Who Lags says it is what it is. I prefer the quality you provide rather than the quantity. Okay, thank you very much. Like, really. Sometimes I wish I could add some filler content, but I never know what that would be. So usually I just alternate between making something technical, and my technical videos are usually having like very few views because it's mostly heavy to digest to the majority of people. That's why it's few views. And when I offer my opinions and stuff, that's like easy to listen to. So usually I get quite a lot more videos, views on those videos. Yeah. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining the live stream. Good night, everyone, and I'm gonna see you on Friday with this. Okay. Bye bye.